I just got to the yarn store and I am really excited. I am going to open my inspiration pictures. I have a little whiteboard on Canva where I put all the inspiration images for reference for the color palettes. So I'm just gonna quickly look at them and like go through it and just see what sticks to my creative energy, and then I'll go in, and if anything kind of like, you know, speaks back from and resonates with what I'm bringing, then I guess that's what's meant to be. As soon as I walked in, I saw this color and it captivated me. I have one skein of this color at home. Now I have to do the math to see if I have enough yarn for the whole set, which is the hardest part for me. But I think I'm in love with this. So I just realized that I haven't shown you any progress at all with this crochet project, and I have actually done some progress. It is definitely taking me a long time. I haven't timed exactly how long it takes me to do 2 rows, because each color is basically 2 rows, unless I decide to do, you know, double that, like this brown. I am so excited to see this coming together. But am I gonna make it to Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, really? Because that was the idea. Highly doubt it. It is the 18th, and this is like a 3-day work. So yeah, I'm not gonna do the math, but just thinking about it, it's not gonna happen, which it's okay. It's okay. I still like that I gave myself a deadline, because it just pushes me to kind of like prioritize the project instead of just like, oh, letting it be, which is fine too, to have projects like that. But I currently have 1 or 2 projects that are going on like that. Sorry, my hair is, yeah, it was pulling me and it was giving me a headache. I wanted to mention something. I am once again wearing my pajamas, and as you can see, I recently woke up, not really, like 2 hours ago, but this is how I like to record these videos, because it is the reality of how I live my life basically and how I tackle my projects. I am someone that usually takes a shower at like 2 p.m. or something like that, after I have had my breakfast, work either on the computer or like with my hands making something. I wake up and I want to do things right away. And if I take a shower, in my mind, working out is like out of the question, because then I'm going to have to like take a shower again. And like, that's a waste of time. I recognize that I could potentially just take a shower and then do the workout and take a shower again. But I don't know about you, but I take a long time taking a shower and doing like the skin routine and like the hair and all of those things. To have to do it again, it just seems like a waste of time to me. So all of this to say, you're going to see me in my pajamas a lot. And this makes me think about a question that I wanted to share with you or ask you. If you are someone that sews, because, and I'm saying this assuming that maybe you sew because I've been posting videos about my sewing journey, and you have patterns or know of patterns or pajama patterns, I would love if you can share those with me. Okay, I'm gonna keep listening to the astrology for 2026 as I crochet my beautiful, colorful skirt, and I will keep showing you any progress.
And way of doing things, there's a loss of what is correct. I do also think all of these things coming together is we're moving in deep, 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 deep. And again, it's not just started in 2025, but it became really big in 2025.
This is a heartbreaking update. Last night, I realized that something is very wrong with my crochet, with my skirt. And I have no idea how this happened. And I wanted to start unraveling, but I was like, I want to actually record this, show you, to see if you or anyone watching this understands where I could have made this giant mistake. As I was crocheting the last rows of this skirt, I was like, oh, this is going faster than before. I guess, once you get used to a pattern and whatnot, I was like, okay, it's probably that. But then I was like, wait, this feels short. And I compared my last row to my first row, and this is what is happening. So this is my first row. This is my last row. I am speechless. I mean, obviously, throughout the whole process, I must have skipped stitches to the point that now I am off 30 stitches. So my first row had 125 stitches. I didn't count when I started making this because you had to make the chain, your first chain, the length that you wanted. And then from that, you just kept crocheting. So I didn't really need the numbers of chains that I was actually doing. So I didn't know how many I was making. I guess for my second try, that is going to be important. Even though I don't need to know how many chains I'm making and how many stitches per row, I should know so that I don't get to a third of the width of my skirt and realize I have to start over. My last row has 95 chains. How does that even happen? 30 stitches off. I have no idea. In my first 5 rows, can you see this? I don't know. In my first 5 rows, I do notice that it goes like this, right, in a slant, which I thought it was normal because with the waistband, or the way that you make the waistband for this skirt, like it's going in that slant. So I was like, okay, that's normal. It's kind of like reflecting that. However, it is not. It is not. It is actually going in the opposite direction, right? So this is longer. If this is going this way, it should have gone this way, but my brain didn't catch that. I was like, okay, slant, it's normal. So what I'm thinking is that in the last stitch that you make here, I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, I cannot even see it when I look at it, so there's no way that I'm going to be able to actually show you. But in the last stitch, it wasn't actually very clear to me if that was a stitch or not. And around color 5, I was like, wait, I think I am skipping one. So that means that I may have skipped like 5 stitches total here, right? So I guess I was accounting for that in some ways when I realized it, and I didn't decide to, or I decided to not go back and fix that. And after that 5th row or 5th color, I was very conscious of using or going in that last stitch that was not very obvious if it was or not. So other than that, I have no idea how I could have made this mistake. It is a heartbreaking realization. What do you think happened? I really don't know. I have no idea how I did this. And I was so happy with the progress. And I was like, oh, I probably have like 3 days more to go. Not anymore. Not anymore. Here is another view for you. So if I try to match the ends, which is actually hard because of that curve, look at the end. Look at how off that is. And it doesn't even look that off here since these two are not matching. But when you actually grab it, it's like ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think I can really do this with one hand. But yeah, this is how off I am. This is so sad. I haven't done an update in a while, but I have a lot to show you. So I think the last time I recorded, it may have been when I realized that I had to start over. Luckily, though, that happened because I started to crochet in a more loose way. And that means that the shape, the overall shape of the skirt, especially the waistband, is so much better. So happy that I had to redo it because the waistband just is even, it feels good. So I have finished my skirt. Let me see if I can go further out. So the skirt is semi-done. So the crochet part is actually done. I'm so happy with it. I need to finish the fringe, which means I already tied the knots. I don't know if you can see this here. Let's see. So these are the knots that I needed to tie. Now I need to make this fringe fuller. So I need to go in and add more strands of yarn. And I need to also add an elastic band around the waist so that it stays in place when I wear it. Really happy with it. I already tried it on multiple times. I ended up adding this slit as the pattern suggested. I did think about it multiple times. I was like, should I just close it fully or should I keep this slit? Okay, so that is for the skirt what I'm missing. And now I am on to the top. With this one, I did go on my own direction using the pattern as a guide, but I did change the top design, the neckline. So the original set has a turtleneck. I actually love turtlenecks, but if you remember, I live in South Florida. So I thought that I wanted maybe to just have like a straight neckline, but my hands wanted something else. When I started doing that, I just kind of went like, nope, I think I want to make this a square neckline. So this is what I have so far for the top. Let me go back again. And so I am loving how it looks. I thought that I was gonna make it a little bit longer. I actually wanted it to cover a little bit more of like my torso, but I like that the fringe, I can play around with the length of the fringe so that it covers a little bit more. And this is just coming from like my insecurities because the skirt fits tightly to my body, which I like, but there's something about like the shape or the thickness of crochet or whatnot that makes any kind of like curve or any kind of bump look even bumpier, and that makes me feel insecure, I guess. And so I thought I wanted to make the top a little bit longer that would cover a little bit more of the underbelly, and I wish I didn't really feel like that, but I do. And so I'm just going to hug that feeling. And so I thought, okay, if like a child would come to me and say like, oh, I feel insecure about this, I wouldn't tell them like, oh, just like, get your shit together, it's okay, no one cares. Actually, if you care, you care. And so I wanted to do something about it for that child within me that feels that way. And so I am going to try to make this a little bit longer so that it covers that area that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm following the directions of the pattern on how to attach the front and the back panels of the top, and that has taken me literally like hours to figure out. I'm trying it and then I see it and it doesn't look nice, and so that's why I'm like, wait, I don't think that I am doing it right. I finally got to a place where I think it's not ugly, it's okay. It may not look great, but it's okay. This is the way that I'm connecting those two. Hopefully, it works. Oh, you know what? I think that I don't have enough of one of the yarns, and I'm going to have to order more or go to the store, which is not very convenient. I don't know. Maybe I have enough. Ugh. I had to come to the store, to the yarn store, to get extra blue because I ran out. And I'm literally like, I need like 2 more rows of blue. But I also need to add more fringe because it needs to be fuller. So I needed to take the trip all the way here. It's like 40 minutes away from my house, which is fine. It's just so nice to go in there and like see all of the yarn options. I am not someone that buys without having at least yarn, without having an idea of what I'm going to do with it, but just seeing all the yarns makes me so happy. So I also got black yarn, same type of yarn, 100% Pima cotton by Cascade Yarns. And I just got black because I bought a pattern like a month ago. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that would be really cute in black. But I actually did go back and forth in this store with this other blue that was so beautiful, and I could see that blouse also in that color. I took a picture of the yarn, and hopefully there's another project or maybe even the same blouse or something else that I could use that blue color for, because it's absolutely beautiful. So I tried this set on yesterday because I have completed making the fringe fuller. I have not cut it yet for either the blouse or the skirt. And when I tried on the set yesterday, Poppy, thank you, me Vida. I wish you could see her face when she turns with a little toy in her mouth. Just my heart explodes. But also she is being intense. I'm sorry. Hold on, maybe 1 second. 1 second. So when I tried this set on yesterday, I did realize that I wanted to make a change to the skirt, which I know at the time that I finished the skirt, at least the crochet part, I did struggle making this decision. I didn't know if I wanted this slit or if I wanted the skirt closed up all the way down, because if you remember, this is the original pattern that I'm following, and the original design has that slit on the skirt on the side. And yesterday when I was trying it on, I thought that I actually would rather have it completely closed all the way down. My concern when I didn't want to add the skirt was that maybe the skirt was going to be uncomfortable because it goes all the way like below my knees. But it's actually very stretchy, so I don't think it's going to be uncomfortable. And I think I'm going to like the silhouette better. Because the stripes are just like so prominent in this set, it makes the shape of the body and the silhouette like more, like it enhances every single thing, every curve. I've never considered myself someone that has like a lot of curves, but this set makes me look very curvy in general. And so with this lid, something weird was happening with the way that it looked. I just think that if the skirt is fully closed, I will like it better. So crossing my fingers. And thankfully the change was pretty easy. I just had to basically undo a couple knots and undo the last end of that slit, all of those stitches, and now I'm closing it up. So we'll see. Let me put this here so I can have my hands free and I can express myself better. So this is the final set. I am really, really happy with the way it turned out. I feel very comfortable in it, wearing it. My concern about the skirt and the crochet itself kind of making everything more bumpy and more curvy is actually not present. And instead, I actually feel very contained in this set. I love how the top is a little bit loose, and I love the length of the fringe because, again, I mentioned this before, it makes me feel comfortable to just like not worry about whether I am bloated, swollen, and whatnot. I can actually sit on my chair or like in this seating area that I have here now, like with my legs crossed, which is my preferred way to sit. And the skirt stretches. I was a little bit concerned that it was going to like deform. I have my mirror here, but it didn't. It went back to normal. I just love the set. So if you don't know, I actually recorded this in like 2 parts. The first part I shared with you in the video how I chose the color palette to make this set. And basically I took you through the process on how I choose a very colorful color palette, but I have not mentioned what colors and what yarn I ended up going with. So take a screenshot of this, which has the names and the codes of the yarn that I used, exactly what colors I used. And if you're curious about the process on how to choose a very colorful palette, I am going to tag the link for that video somewhere around here. I think it's one of these top corners. I sat down because I feel a little bit more comfortable sitting instead of posing standing. One thing that I want to mention, or a couple things that I want to mention as like the final thoughts, insights of the process of this set, is that first of all, it was really easy. However, as you saw, I made a huge mistake because I didn't count my stitches as I started the set. especially with the skirt. With the top, you do have to keep track of the number of chains and stitches that you use. So that's, I think that was not a big deal. For the skirt, I do recommend, highly suggest keeping track of the stitches. And if you can, count as you go, or just count every 5 or 10 rows. The pattern itself is incredibly simple. So if you are a beginner, I would highly suggest this pattern, especially because the designer of this pattern has a video tutorial. And that is obviously a very easy way to start a project, to have the visuals, to have, you know, the pattern, the written pattern itself. I definitely love the fact that there is a visual aid with this pattern. As far as the modifications that I did for the pattern, as you can see, and as I mentioned before, I modified the top. So I ended up with a square neckline. And I also, I don't know if you can see here, in the back, I ended up just kind of like, I don't know if you can see that. I should have shown you this when I was standing, but maybe you can see that there. I'm not very flexible right at this second, so I don't know, I can twist like that. But I basically did also like a decrease of stitches basically in the back. Instead of the line coming here, it comes all the way here, but it does not start exactly where the front and the back panel meet. That is because I didn't want the top to be right here on my shoulder, because I thought that would maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I left a little bit of like a wiggle room for the neck in the back. Okay, another thing that I should mention, because my mom asked me this, is that I didn't use, or I didn't follow a specific pattern for the color use or the color order throughout this whole set. For the skirt, I just did whatever color I wanted next. For the top, I did that for the front, but I did mirror the color organization or order or the color pattern in the back, because I wanted this to look seamless. I didn't want the seam where front and back panel met to be different colors. I think other than that, those are all the thoughts that I have for this set. I think I'm gonna be able to wear this in days that are not too hot, maybe like 60s, 70s. I did go with 100% cotton yarn, so it is a little bit breathable. I thought the garment itself is gonna be a lot heavier, but it's not at all. It's really comfortable. I'm actually very impressed with how comfortable it is. Oh, the last thing that I want to say is that the skirt, if you remember, I added an elastic. This is also part of the pattern, and in the video tutorial, she shows you how to do that. And something that I haven't done, because she mentioned this and I was like, oh, I actually like that idea, is that I didn't cut the ends. So this is the end of my elastic. I think you can see that there. I don't know. But I didn't cut the ends, and I'm just kind of like tucking them in. Throughout the month, I go through a lot of different changes. And even with my elastic pants and shorts and stuff like that, some days, like, you know, the 3 days that I mentioned before where I was really sick and my stomach was so bloated, even my comfortable pants were kind of uncomfortable. I wanted something that was just like not even touching my skin. And so I thought that that was a really clever idea. I can easily tuck in the ends of the elastic for those days or seasons in my life that if I want the skirt to feel looser, I can just undo that knot that I have in the elastic and just make it bigger. Okay, so that is it for this video. If you watched this video and you liked it, please let me know by liking the video. And if you want to be inspired to create more things, or you just simply like this type of content, I would love if you can subscribe, because I will be sharing more and more of this type of creations and the things that I'm making. So I'll see you in the next video.